We've reached the end of the line. Close quarters, the Marine 6. It was a struggle to get here, but was it worth it? That is the question that Josiah and I will answer after that open rolls and the ad read plays out. Because we did it. I said we were going to, and we did it. We finished the Marine franchise. So, like I said, here comes the ad read, here comes the open, and after that, Josiah will be here. Whether it's your first time here or you're a regular here at Mr. Super Oz, I just want to thank you for tuning in to the channel. It exists because I, Oz, from the channel Mr. Super Oz, I wrote a 68-page graphic novel called Everlasting Survivors. Volume 1 is called All Day Long. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can get yourself hats, shirts, posters, all kinds of fun things. But most importantly, you can get the story itself. And the more people that pick up the story, the greater the chances are that there can be continued adventures with these heroes. If you could, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, enjoy. Josiah, thank you for finishing this journey with me.
Absolutely.
It was not easy to get here, which is weird to say.
That is an understatement.
Because we were just watching movies.
Uh-huh.
But
I think anyone who's seen these movies, though, knows that it would be a slog to get through regardless.
Yeah, so the beginning of the franchise, the Marine, did not, what I would consider, start out on a good
note.
A note, yes. Whereas the second one, I think, was surprising in its execution due to keeping Ted's acting at a minimum. Mm-hmm. And then 3, I thought, was annoying, mostly with Mrs. Family. Yeah. And, you know, I love seeing Hangman, don't get me wrong, but, right. You know, the hanger, he couldn't do all the work for him. And then finally, when we got to 4 and 5, I was like, oh my goodness, okay, we're figuring out our groove here. I mean, actually, 5, I was like, oh, that's actually a great movie. It's
actually a good movie.
Or in your case, yeah, good. So when we get here to the finish line, number 6, here's how I knew that I was a fan of this movie. Before we got to the credits, I was already conceiving of how to do a number 7 in my mind. And the fact is, they don't need a number 7.
No.
At least we end strong. That's the important thing.
Always important to finish better than you start.
Yes, but all I was getting at is, like, because I was thinking about the world is what made me say, okay, you actually did a good job, guys, of getting me invested in these characters.
You hooked them.
Hooked me, exactly, yeah. Jake Carter, spoiler, but the movie is old, and
the movie is, I think,
5, 6, 7, something like that. Yeah. And so Jake Carter, who was the star of the Marine 3, 4, 5, and now 6, doesn't make it out of the movie. And the minute that they killed him off, and it wasn't like one of these cheap deaths like they do when they replace...
He didn't fall off a cliff. He didn't...
Well,
ambiguous.
When they try to replace a top guy with another, presumably top guy, but definitely cheaper actor, sometimes it feels like, oh, I wonder why this happened. No, everything about Jake Carter's passing in the context of the film felt earned. And it actually, to me, made retroactively the character and all that he'd gone through, and they actually show it in like a highlight reel.
Yeah, give it a little run through.
And it made everything feel more important, gave it weight. And then the introduction of Luke, an old commanding officer from Jake's past.
Yeah, you know, sexy boy.
Shawn Michaels, yes. When we meet Luke, he he and Jake have a very fun and what feels familiar type relationship to me from my time in the military, where you like to harass each other and say, oh, I got you this time. Oh, I thought we were even, and just jovial but relatable banter. And the mission they're on too. The mission they start out to do is in and of itself very noble and thoughtful, because Jake is enlisted to help Luke help a friend of his that they lost in the war, his father, get out of this homeless situation that he's in. And when we meet the father, he is basically choosing to live life the way that he is, not quite as penance per se, but as a hey, I got nothing else, so just leave me be. And it was just everybody within the context of this story, except for the guy who owned the building he was squatting in. I didn't like him none.
Yeah.
But both the father character, the Luke character, and the Jake character, they all felt very real to me. And not just real, but understandable, relatable.
Felt like people had actually been in life.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. And then a thing we were talking about off screen is how Becky Lynch's character in this movie almost seems like a prototype or an inspiration for who she would go on to become in the context of wrestling.
Yeah, about to say within about a year. So I was literally, the conversation was basically like me trying to figure out, okay, when did this movie come out? Because the energy Becky Lynch was giving off the entire movie was like, oh, she's the man. She's got that. She's got that swagger. She's got the way she. What really made it stand out to me was the scene where they were dragging her to the boat, and just the whole time Becky's entire walk to the boat, how she was ordering the guys around that. That's oh yeah, she's the man. She's the big bad.
Absolutely.
She's the one, get her done.
What makes me so happy about you realizing her having that energy is knowing who had the talk with her to create the persona. Yeah, the persona of the man. And that man was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
The guy who beat the man.
So I don't know.
Full circle.
I don't know if that conversation happened on the set of this movie, or somewhere in a performance center type setting. But I just found it very amusing that you felt it, and I know that she credits Shawn for her awakening to, if you want to be taken as seriously, then you have to present yourself as the baddest person in the room.
Hell, did it work?
Exactly. Yeah. And, oh my goodness. So, like I said, previously, when we meet Jake Carter, I did not like the damsel in distress sister character or her boyfriend. But I thought both the father who was on the jury and the daughter who was captured by the Irish mob, by the way, the most diverse Irish mob you'll ever meet in your life.
I'm about to say, I'm okay, so you're Irish, you're black, you're white, you're also white. I'm wow, there's a lot of diversity and inclusion in the mob. That's very considerate.
They were very considerate this time. What was I going to say? Oh, I thought both the daughter character and the father, who was on the jury that was Becky was trying to get her father off from conviction from. I thought they both did well with their limited roles. Yeah. The father was good at clarifying to all the people who were deliberating in the room that I don't care what you say, he ain't being found guilty today. And we as the audience know why, but his peers did not. And the daughter, where she wasn't the best, but she certainly wasn't the worst when it comes to the damsels.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I've seen worse damsels in distress. She kind of,
even within this franchise.
Yeah, especially in this franchise. But she actually had like some kind of. She wasn't like a scared, timid little girl. She wasn't a Princess Peach,
right?
Being rescued by Mario. Like
yes.
she. Actually, I think that
she held her own.
The literal boat scene.
Yep.
She spit in Becky's face and was like, "Screw you."
Yep.
Like.
Well, and even earlier in the film, it was, now granted this was an accident, but it was when they were all trying to exit through this place and going down through this tunnel.
Oh, man,
and then she falls and Sean gets stabbed in the, not heart, but the upper chest area. And it was like, man, they're good, doing good stuff here, man. My goodness.
I'm about to say, she's not completely useless. Wow.
Yeah. So, even though it's absolutely pointless, I will do a quick little side note and say, if Daddy Dearest and his ilk wanted to go after Luke, and we did the Marine 7 Revenge Tour, I would have loved for Joe Linwood and John Triton to come together and
Marine unification.
yes, to come and make the save for Luke, who was, being tortured and even stop him from being drowned in the same place with an anchor. Because, I don't know, it's a similar manner.
Yeah.
And that way you can keep it tight, like you did with Battleground and Close Quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of the things that both of these films did well, was stay in
their lane.
Yeah, stay in their lane.
Quick bracket.
Yes.
Area to work in, and they just stuck with that.
And you don't go trying to be bigger than you need to be.
I'm about to say, I don't need you taking over an entire city. Just stick to the pier.
Yes, that's right. That's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was a 5 out of 5. I thought it was, of the 6, it's either my favorite or second favorite. I just don't know, because I think Bo Dallas is gonna get the nod over Shawn Michaels, but not by a lot. I think Bo Dallas and Shawn Michaels both could stand to do more acting. Shawn, I know, has at least one more, maybe 2 more movies coming up in the WWE Studio Slam. I don't think Bo Dallas has done anything else. But
well, they were teetering on firing him / not using him for the longest. So
yeah.
I doubt it.
Well, again, what's your score, so I can talk about Bo Dallas for a second?
4.
Okay, so you think this is good as well?
Yes.
In a world where the Wyatt Six come to life,
Fingers crossed.
right? So Bo is obviously a member. Eric Redbeard is a member. Braun Strowman is a member. Alexa Bliss seems logical to play Abby the Witch.
Fair.
And then at this point, there becomes 2 holes, right?
Yeah.
And in my mind, Vincent and Dutch would have made for great Mercy the Buzzard and Huskus the Pig Boy. Oh, by the way, when I say Wyatt Six, I mean the idea of the puppets coming to life.
Yeah, I know.
And so, because like when they did that entrance, that reemergence of Bray Wyatt the character at Extreme Rules, and all the puppets were real, I was like, oh, this is genius. And I kept wanting to envision a world where somebody, or where
these puppets were inhabited by people.
Exactly.
Or wrestlers.
So I guess Joe Gacy could make for a good Huskus.
Yeah,
potentially.
Fits the mold pretty well.
Which then still leaves Mercy the Buzzard. And I don't know who it would be, because I want it to be somebody with ties back to Bray, but with Brody not being with us,
yeah.
And the other man that comes to my mind, you know what? No, take it back. So I was going to say one person that comes to mind is Cody Rhodes, because he was his mentor, but that wouldn't work, right?
Yeah.
But you know what would work, could work, done right? Randy Orton. So, and why I say that is, A, he was in the family before, and B, so I want Uncle Howdy to be dropped, and I want Bo Dallas to be Bo Wyatt, basically, right? And I want him to adopt the shirt, the hat. He already can cut a great promo.
Yeah.
And so I want him to be able to manipulate people, and so then that's how you can get potentially Randy to be
on the team.
On the team, yeah. I think, okay, so let's think about it. If we were going to book all 6 characters, so there's Mercy the Buzzard, which is one of the big question marks. Maybe Mercy is Randy, potentially. Abby is obviously Alexa. I think the Fiend ought to be Braun, right? Because he's humongous.
And also his facial expressions aren't great, so...
Yeah, and so that way you just hide him. So Huskus, Joe Gacy, Ramblin' Rabbit potentially is who Bo would be, right?
I would assume.
Yeah, no, Ramblin' Rabbit is he would have to be who he would have to be the mask that Eric Rowan takes over, and then Bo is the 6th member, right? Because who is the 6th? Because isn't it's just these 5 plus the 6 being
the puppets are Mercy the Buzzard.
Yep.
Abby the Witch.
Yep.
Ramblin' Rabbit.
Yep.
Huskus the Pig Boy.
Yep.
And then you have the Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Ray himself.
Yeah, so...
who isn't with us anymore.
Correct. So that's why I think that Bo would be the puppet master, if you will.
Right.
The Bray of it all.
Have to take the Bray world.
Yes.
And so Alexa for Abby.
Yep. Fiend for Braun. Yep. Rabbit for Rowan, and then Mercy for Randy.
Rowan doesn't talk. He doesn't ramble. In fact, he does the exact opposite. He doesn't talk at all.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's complicated.
Honestly, Randy would make more sense as rambling just because
he can go
in his head.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't mad at it.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have Rowan as the Buzzard. That would make...
Yep. And so you would just replace a sheep mask with the Buzzard mask.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
This is totally off topic.
I'm about to say we just
might not ever happen.
Nah.
But it was just something fun. I appreciate you.
For sure.
For the month of May, I'm giving Josiah a break from the WWE Studio Slam, and I'm going to do a solo video about a WWE Studio film that my wife likes and we watched called The Call. I had never seen it before, so hopefully it's one of the better films that they made.